Dear friends, in this video, I'm going to elaborate one of the most important concepts which are used in finance, which is time value of money or what's called discounted cash flow. The time value of money is normally used to calculate return on investment, evaluating investment opportunities, as well as assessing the investments in stocks or bonds. For this purpose, we're going to focus on the timeline, which is considered to be as an important technique to explain the essence of time value of money. In this video, I'm going to focus on the future value for one amount or future value annuities. To explain the concept of future value, suppose that you have an opportunity to get $1 today, which is zero, or after 1 year. And there is a principle says that $1 in hand today is worth more than $1 to be received in the future. Because if you had it now, you could invest it and earn interest as well as protecting your capital from the impact of inflation or the volatility in the rate of interest. And here there is there are important terminology which you have know in order to understand the concept of time value of money. The PV, which is the present value or the beginning amount, the I symbol, which is the rate of interest, and the INT, which is the amount of earned interest, and it can be calculated by multiplying the beginning amount by the rate of interest, and here the FV relates to the future value and the N, which is the number of years, and the future value can be computed through multiplying the present value it can be calculated through adding the amount of interest to the beginning amount, which is present value, and the N refers to the number of years or the life of your investment. And here we can see the timeline, which is an important technique to elaborate time value of money. Here you can see the zero, which is today, cash flow at the time zero. Actually it's outflow because we're paying out, and the I is the rate of interest. Here the one is the first year, and here the cash flow in the second year, and here the cash flow in the third year. Here you can see the timeline for 2 years, and here the timeline for 3 years. So the focus in this video will be on elaborating the future value for one amount, which is $1, and the future value of an annuity. And we will see in this video the future value of an annuity is divided into two terms, which is ordinary annuity and annuity due. Now, to understand the future value for one amount, suppose that you are planning to make a deposit of $100 for 3 years. What is the total amount that you will have by the end of the first year? And here easily we have to multiply the present value, which is the beginning amount, by 1 plus the I, which is the rate of interest, then you will get the answer. And here the rate of interest, it was 10%. Therefore 100 multiplied by 1 plus 10% to the power of 1, which is 1 year, then the answer will be 110. And how much you will get by the end of the second year? Here we have to multiply the present value by 1 plus 10% to the power of 2, which is 2 years. Then the answer will be $121. While after 3 years, the total amount will be 133.10. After n years, we have to employ this equation, which is future value for n, which is the number of years, equal present value multiplied by 1 plus I, which is the rate of interest, to the power of n, which is the number of years. And here we can see the future value table of one amount. For example, relating to our example, if you have deposited $100 for 3 years, we come here. Here is the number of years, and here is the rates of interest. For example, 3 years, 10%. We will multiply the present value by this number, then we will get the answer. Now we will focus on how to calculate future value of an annuity. An annuity is a series of equal payments which are made at fixed intervals for a specified numbers of periods. For instance, to make a deposit of $100 for the coming 3 years, which is annuity, because here the payments are equal and we are going to make more than one payment, or n, which is the number of years annuity. The payments are giving the simple PMT, and the payments occurred at the end or the beginning of each period. For example, if we are planning to make our payments by the end of each year, then we are going to deal with future value annuity, which is ordinary annuity, while if we going to make our payments at the beginning, then the payments will be featured as annuity due. Now we are going to start with ordinary annuity. The ordinary annuity can be made by the end of each period. For example, payments on mortgage are considered to be ordinary annuity, car loans or students loans, while the payments which are going to be made at the beginning, it's called annuity due, and the best example for these payments are rental payments for an apartment or life insurance premiums. And here you can see the timeline for both, for ordinary annuity or annuity due. As you see here in the first timeline, the ordinary annuity, it's going to be made by the end of each period. For example, here the payment was occurred at the end of the first year, and here at the end of the second year, and here at the end of the third year. While for the annuity due, the payment was made today, which is in the beginning of each period, and here the second payment was made by the beginning of the second year or the end of the first year, and here the payment was done by the end of the second year or the beginning of the third year. So now we are going to start with elaborating ordinary annuity through calculating this example. Suppose that you are going to make a deposit of $100 at the end of each year for 3 years. As we see here, we are going to make an equal payment more than one time, which is 3 times. In a saving account, if the offered rate of interest was 5%, you are required to calculate the aggregated amount by the end of 3 years. So the first year it will have an interest, and the bank going to pay an interest for the second year, while the rate of interest for the third year it will be zero. Why zero? Because the investor made the payment by the end of the third year. So in that period he is going to collect his or her money. So he will not get interest on the final payment. So in the first year he will get an interest for 2 years, which is the remaining period. So for example, 100 multiplied by 1 plus 5% to the power of 2, then we will get 110.25%. In the second year he will get an interest just for 1 year, so the result will be 105, while in the third year the rate of interest will be 0, so he will get the 100, which is finally done. So the future value for ordinary annuity will be calculated through computing the first year with the second year and the third year. So the total amount will be 315.25. And we have another method of how we can calculate the future value for ordinary annuity, which can be done through using the table. And here, through using the table, we have to multiply the payment, which is 100, by the future value on inflation factor annuity, for I, the rate of interest, and for N, the number of years. By entering our numbers in the formula, 100, which is the payment, multiplied by the future value on inflation factor, this number we will get from the table, the answer will be similar to this one we just calculated. Here we can see on the table the rate of interest is 5% and the number of years is 3. By multiplying 100 by this number we will get the same result. You can try it by yourself and you will make sure that the result is same and nothing is different. And here is another method, which is through using the formula payment multiplied by 1 plus I, which is the rate of interest, and the number of years, then minus 1, and we divide it by the rate of interest, and finally we will get the same result. After that we are going to move to explain annuity due. Suppose that you are going to make a deposit of $100 at the beginning of each year for 3 years in a saving account. If the offered rate of interest is 5%, how much will you have by the end of 3 years? So the difference between the annuity due and the ordinary annuity, we can see here the annuity due In the annuity due, the payments will be done at the beginning of each period, while under the rule of ordinary annuity, we have to make our payments by the end of each period. So, in the first year, we will get 5% for 3 years, while in the second year is for 2 years, and in the third year just for 1 year, which is the remaining period. Here we can see in the first year the payment will be calculated for 3 years, while in the second year is for 2 years, and in the final years for 1 year. After that, we calculate all these numbers to get the future value for the annuity due. From the table, we have to multiply. Here we are going to use the table of the ordinary annuity. We multiply payment, the payment multiplied by future value and inflation factor annuity for the rate of interest and the number of years. Then we multiply the total amount by 1 plus the rate of interest. And here we can see 100 multiplied by this number. We can get this number from the table of ordinary annuity. Then we multiply the total by 1 plus 5%, which is the rate of interest, and eventually we can get the same number. Or there is another method which can be calculated through using the table of annuity due, and easily we have to multiply the payment by the future value and inflation factor for N and I. Here I is the rate of interest and N the number of years. For example, 100 multiplied by 3.3101, we can get this number from the table of annuity due. Then the result will be the same as well. Here we can see the table, 5% for 3 years, we get this number, which is 3.3101, which we can put it here, which is the inflation factor. And the final method, which can be done through using this equation, which is future value equal A. Here A is the payment, which is $100, multiplied by 1 plus I to the power of n minus 1 divided by I, the rate of interest. Then we multiply the total amount by 1 plus I. And finally, I'm going to leave you with this quiz or this example to make sure you have understood this video. Suppose that you are planning to make a series of equal payments of $4,000 as a payment on mortgage. Here when we see mortgage, meaning that by the end of each period, which is ordinary annuity, for 4 years, thus if the rate of interest was 4%, you are required to calculate the future value of your payments. And here try to solve the same example part through considering the above example as a payments for insurance premiums. Insurance premiums relates to annuity due or the payments which can be done by the beginning of each period. And thank you for watching, and wait me in the coming video in which I'm going to explain uneven cash flow streams or unequal payments. Thank you.